Okay. Um, I always try to do my best to speak about what's happening to me. And I think my purpose as a target individual is to talk about the horrible things that I'm experiencing, which at this point is mostly it's a lot of like my body is being broken down. I know that. It's funny. I wake up feeling like my shoulder were just messed with, and my joints are just being played with. But psychologically, I think it's the most devastating things that's happening because they try to break you down, break your ego down, right? And they try to depattern you and repattern you in these disturbing ways. And it's part of this program, right? They use these bottom feeders. That's what you gotta call them. They are bottom feeders, and it's so funny because they to feel okay to do what they do, they kind of try to tell themselves that they are at war, so things like that. They like to see because the foulness of what they do is so foul that they have to kind of delude themselves that they're in some kind of war. And because during wars things but horrible things happen, and they like at war, that's war. But these people are not at war. First of all, it's far from anything. They're very far from war. If anything, it's probably the least warlike situation they'll ever be in regard of there being in danger or anything, right? They just sit there and then just break people down in the comfort of their own home, wearing their sweatpants and their comfortable hoodies and flip flops and short. Like this is not war. But it is a job where they have to do foul things to people, no matter how comfortable they are in, and what comfort things they wear. Like right now they're probably wearing PJs, pajama bottoms and things. That's what this is what these people are. Like this is what in the state they're in, claiming that they are war, and you obviously know that they're not, but you understand that they are contracted to do these terrible things to people, and the things consist of just continuously manipulate somebody's brain into accepting this. And I know the manipulation is not them directly just manipulating me, just like pressing, it's just like obviously these things are automated. They will somehow, I think, target individual. Um, Once you're on the V2K start, it feels like you're maybe on like attached to some kind of computer and some kind of device that can just like continuously just poison your thoughts and have the ability to know what you're going to think. Like it's obvious that this is a lot of super AI, supercomputer type of technology where things are done in a very automated, predicted fashion, right? I've seen who I'm talking to. These people don't even know what they're gonna eat for brunch, for lunch, or for dinner, and you can see obviously it's like you are not gonna be like, oh my gosh, she's gonna say that. It's like it's obvious there's some kind of device that's the whole thing, and they know that this is gonna happen because this device is probably providing that information, and they do what they need to do, which comes which is mostly a lot of degrading things that are being said by these bottom feeders. Um, Let me just start from the beginning. I am a target individual. On August 19, literally 4 years ago, something changed drastically for me. 4 years ago, that's when I started experiencing V2K, which ever since that just it's been the worst for me. I was a target individual before that, but 4 years ago, I experienced V2K, and that was the beginning of my brain just completely being rewired and manipulated. It says that things have changed in the way I process things and dream and all kind of things. Obviously, my body's been broken down too, but I think that could have been happening before I know, but I didn't feel anything. But the thing that drastically noticed on my brain is what's happening to my brain, my process, the way of thinking, my process, and in regard of thinking, reacting, everything that just drastically changed in the nasty ways, to the point where I almost, thought about. I truly thought about like suicide because of this nastiness. I didn't want my brain to be rewired this fashion, and it was very pedophilia centric. But thankfully, I became stronger. But what really helped me is the testimonies of others that validated me. And not only that, but seeing who else was involved, who else was going through the same thing, gave me strength. After saying that, I'm like, okay, that I cannot. If this woman who's doing by herself, as vulnerable is has been strong for this long, who am I to just give up like that? Not even give up, but just take this action and do this thing to myself. So I understand that my purpose too is to do these things. Is just to provide my testimonials, but at the same time, my testimonials are also a way to vent and be able to express what's happening. Because as being a target individual, you are by yourself. Everybody around you are trying to try to influence you in a negative way, to try to push you to accept these nasty things that's happening to you. Me, just like many other target individuals, family members are involved, so I don't even want to be around them, knowing that, because family can do more damage, can do more bad things to you than people that you don't know. These random neighbors that you don't care about, they can do their thing, but you're never going to listen to what they say as somebody that you would respect, because they're nobodies to you. They have no influence. You see them truly for what they are. Family members who do that are people that you at some point have some respect for, cared for, and so when they do their thing, it's gonna be more impactful. So I'm alone in that sense, but I'm not alone in the sense that I'm not alone being tortured this way. There's so many others have been tortured in this fashion, in this systematic fashion, in this disturbing fashion, and that's what you have to deal with. And it's nasty. You have people who try to make you accept these things, and those things are non-stop. For me, I've been very vocal about them. They've been doing these pedophilia things. I look at little kids, and they do the stimulations. I look at kids at any age. They make me feel stimulations and sensations, and then try to manipulate the other things, memories, and all ways to try to break me down, and try to create sexual reaction toward children, and even going to my memories and adding layers of this sensation or stimulation or something else to make me subscribe to that, to break me down with their pedophilia things they do to people. It's so nasty, and that's what they've been doing. And once they do these things, they like to talk about, oh, we're gonna castrate you, we're gonna cut you, we're gonna do this and that for the purpose of for the purpose of trying to make you identified, right? They think that's because this torture are gonna happen to me. They like to call them out once they make me experience or make me think of something they make me experience, and tell me about how I'm gonna be castrated, I'm gonna be tortured in this way, I'm gonna be raped, and every time they bring up things they've done to me, right? And you understand that's the tactics they've been utilizing to try to make the target individual feel guilty for the manipulation they've been forcing to make me experience, right? And these people, that's what they call a war, because you understand that I know that that's what they're doing, and it's obvious that that's what they're doing, right? But they have to do this continuously, even though the target individual is very much aware that the reason why they say these things at this moment is because they want that person to accept and feel guilty for the way that person experienced, when in reality he knows that this is part of the way they manipulate people to break them down. So that's basically what's been going on with me since August 19, 2019, which is almost 4 years ago. And there's been a lot of thought manipulations, and your thoughts and rationality are poisoned, in the sense that you start thinking in these nonsensical ways. You see it for what it is, but your brain, the way they've penetrated your brain, is they can control your brain. So I think there's a stage where they learn your brain, the signature of your brain, the patterns of your brain, the way you think, the way you, so they can go into that and manipulate your thoughts. Be able to create false thoughts, and feel like it's really your thoughts. And with time, it seems like it's going deeper and deeper. They manage to be able to make those thoughts feel more and more like they're yours. And so with those false thoughts, they try to rationalize what they've done to me, meaning that they make it seem like, no, that's your thoughts, this is how you obviously know it's not. And then they help, with, once those thoughts are played this way, they come in and just like, they're gonna castrate you, they're gonna kill you, they're gonna, try to get you to feel guilty for that. That's the things they've been doing to me. Right? Or making noise campaign. Oh, we saw this. Boom, make a noise campaign, and you should be like, oh my gosh, this. At this point, I was like, I know what you're doing. They used to like slam the doors really hard earlier, do all this thing, dropping things when this starts. I was like, I know. Right? It's because they want you to be like, oh my gosh, that person saw this thought. Oh. So you gotta be strong, because they're gonna tell you things like that you should be scared, right? But I understand what they're doing. So when they tell me they'll rape me, when they make me have these thoughts of what they've done to me or do something to me, I understand what that person says that at this point is because she wants me to think that I should feel guilty for a thought or a moment that they forced me to experience with this reaction toward a child that they manipulate me to experience. And they try to find ways then with my ways of thinking to not to cover up, but to infiltrate my thoughts and try to make me rationalize these things. It's been that kind of game nonstop. But just to summarize this part, they just been making me look at kids in these disturbing pedophilia ways, making me react to kids in these nasty ways, make me think of kids in these disturbing ways. And at any moment, 2 seconds ago, this thing just happened, right? I was watching this thing. It was two adults having sexual moments, and at the end, they start making me think of the son of the actor. They're very like known actors, right? They're like popular actors. They start making me think of the son, and try to merge this moment. They had sex. If is it was acting, it was a movie. They weren't actually having sex. And the son, to try to merge this man's son with what just happened in this scene, and try to make me start thinking about this kid in a sexual way, to merge this. And it's nasty. And this is the nasty things they do. Try to condition somebody's brain to think about kids in these ways. That's what they like to call a war, because they do these foul things to people. And because while you're at war, this is war, horrible things happen in war. These people do these foul things. They're not at war, but that's part of the assignment of doing things to people. As target individual, we are human experiments. We're not even a human experiment, but we're part of this this development of this technology where they need human beings as subjects. And this trash here are supposed to implement this developing of this technology onto human beings. But in their mind, they create ways to cope with what they're part of by creating this fantasies of stories where they try to be something else, and they create these psyops, and they create their own little personas to try to cope with the reality of what they're part of. It's nasty. It's the things they do. And so I need to just learn how to, as a target individual, you got to be strong, because when you have these thoughts, it's just so disturbing. They bring up things, right now, for example, they bring up a moment where I remember it was my first meeting with other target individual, and some, not all target individual are target individual. Some of them are involved, right? Because it's easy to infiltrate these groups. And there was a child in it, and they purposely brought this child in, and this started forcing me to get reaction. It was so disgusting. I remember that moment being a disturbing moment. But they even added more layers to that memories by adding like, oh, the way it was like so nasty. But that's the things they've done to me, because now my fear of looking at children is crazy. I hate looking. Seeing a child to me is terrifying, because I know what they're gonna do to me. I know what these bottom feeders, for the developing of this technology, the way they're gonna try to break me down, they're gonna make me have some kind of reaction of some sexual nature and aim it toward that child. This is the pedophilia type of torture that you hear. And it's nasty. And it's been like that since August 19, 2019. And these things is not only unique to me. They've done that to others. They've forced people to react toward children in a sexual manner, to break them down. Some of them are actually parents. They have their own kids. So these are tactics they've been doing to break people down. And then they use these bottom feeders here, try to disorient you when you put things in perspective, because they want you to identify. They don't like what I'm doing here in regard of calling out for what they do. They're doing these things to me, so that's why I'm reacting this way. They don't want that. So they come up, oh, they're going to rape you. They'll change this, or no, you did this thing. Try to disorient you, because I'm saying the way I'm reacting to this is what this program has been doing to others. And so you gotta dismiss these bottom feeders for what they are. They're just trash. They even have like, when I'm in bed, it's the most vulnerable time, because it seems like when you're in a resting state, your thoughts can be even more manipulated. It almost feels like you're in a hypnotic state of mind. It's just so easy. And I was in bed, and this person says some nasty things. Not this person, but these people manipulate my brain, and I was like, I could tell immediately it was them, because I can feel like a weird like state. My brain is just like something, just like a hold to it. And then they were making me think like, because in the Bible, they say like adultery is the same as like murder or something like that. And they were trying to make me think like, oh, because I know my imperfections. I do have my imperfection, and it's, I do have, I had a lot of thoughts about women in a sexual matter, right? So I know me. But this person, this thought they implanted was like, just try to mimic this Bible verse, or not verse, but saying like that, adultery is the same as murder, something like that. They're trying to make me say, think about women like this is the same as thinking about children like this, or something like that, right? And try to make me have these thoughts. I'm like, you guys are nasty. This is the nasty things they do. I have to be strong, but it is breaking down. Like, it just annoys me. It disturbs me that I have to deal with this 24/7. To me, seeing children at this point is just disturbing. But target individual, this is how they try to degrade you and break your ego. It's hard to look at yourself the same way, but once you understand that that's what they do, not only you look at yourself in a better way, you look at yourself in a way that's like dignified. You're like, I couldn't imagine me tell myself, wait, I'm at war here. I'm sitting there in my sweatpants and everything. It's like, yeah, my job is to rewire this person's body, rewire this person's mind in these disgusting ways. Not even just the body though, the mind in these pedophilia ways, and try to find fierceness in that. It's nasty. What a trashy way of living life. And then you feel like, oh my, I'm just thankful. I can only say that I couldn't imagine myself do that, but I've never been in that position where I had even the option to do that, and I'm so glad. I'm thankful for that. And they're picking trash. Like, these people are not the creme. Like, these people from all circle of life, right? Well, we're talking about professionals, elders, kids, and people. Just anybody can be involved. So it's not like they're picking the creme de la creme. Anybody. It's just like, and just the weaker the better actually. And they find strength in trying going through the repetition, the scripts, and like no, no, no. I'm like trash. Thank God I didn't have to live that life. There is no way. And they try to find ways to change. No, we're just picking your brain. You're like, no, they manipulate your brain. Right? They find ways to try to change. Like, I know what this program is about. It's about rewiring people. It's about changing people's brain, the way they think, the way they changing them. This is human. This is manipulating a person's brain, controlling that person's thoughts, manipulating those thoughts, breaking this person's ego to repattern him in these disturbing ways. They're nasty. And you're supposed to be subscriptive to them. See them for truly the low life that they are. You know, they find ways to change you in these disgusting pedophilia ways. That's their job. And I'm so thankful that I had those validations from other testimonials, because they try to gaslight you no matter, like, even now they still try to gaslight me. So, no, it's your thought. It's you who picked your brain. It's like, you know. But the validation of knowing that others have said the same thing, try to change me, to make me think in these pedophilia ways, it's just, you know, like, you just, the validation is too much. So you see this person for the trash and low-life pedophile that this person is, for involving themselves in a program where your job is to rewire my brain these ways. Delusional trash. And whatever ways they try to counter because in my brain, as I'm speaking about this obviousness, they're finding ways to try to counter reality, to create battles. And they then call you, you're nothing. And I'm like, what are you then? You understand? They know they are the nothing at this point. Their value did not go up for sure. You know, if I call them pedophiles, they know what I mean. It's straight. I can look at you, low-life pedophiles. You know what you're doing to me. You know what you're doing to people. You know how you manipulate the brain in these nasty ways when you call it being at war. And so you have to be strong. And whatever things and it's funny, they're bringing up things they've done to me and then use that. So I'm like, okay. When was that? Okay. In 20, okay. You gotta be strong. And they like to then tell you, okay, what we're gonna do to you, prepare yourself, because we've implanted either child porn, either drugs in your apartment, or either somebody here, a child here said something about me doing something to that person that obviously I don't know. They make that up, but they can gonna try to, I don't know what, but they're saying that they're gonna say that I did something to this child, like this child person, and I don't know what they're gonna do, but they come up with the different ways they're gonna frame me. In my mind, they actually try to make me imagine, like, it's crazy. But yes, they tell me how they're gonna frame me. Like I said, one of the frame, they say they're gonna say that they're gonna talk about, that say something about me doing something to a child here. They're gonna implant drugs, or they're gonna implant child porn on my computer. That's the three options of framing they say they're gonna use. They're gonna utilize. And they like prepare for it, because I'm saying how they do this pedophilia type of torture and how it's renowned for their tactics are renowned. I'd rather die slow than having to live this life. And you know, the way they're talking, because I'm V2K, like I said, V2K is also the technology that can, you can hear somebody talking to you remotely. They don't need to be near you. They're not, you know, they don't have to be your neighbors. It could be people like in another building or somewhere else. And so when you hear them talk, they try to use this mysticful voice. Prepare for it. Like that's how one of the guys that tried to talk to me, I've seen some of these people, but they create a persona. It's like, prepare for it. We're just picking your brain, people. Oh, trash. A bunch of fucking pedophiles. I'm sorry for the language, but that's what they are. So stay strong. Find yourself lucky that you're not here trying to create the false voice, try to make yourself sound in a certain way. Prepare for it. Yeah, you'll die. It's you. You understand? And when they said that, they're like, oh, but I remember what you did as a kid. I'm like, hey, these people talking like this. Prepare for it. They're in a program that tortured children. Infants being tortured and burned, radiated. They torture and rape women using this technology that can do so much. So this grown man who wants to sound mysticful is fully aware that I know that they do horrible things to children on top of doing the pedophilia type of torture. And he wants to sound mysticful in that realm that he created for himself. And it's like nothing, not getting to me. It's like, do I need to get to these people? Target individuals, these people have done so much horrible things. And are doing, if they're capable to force men and women to think about children these ways, can you imagine what they can do to children? Listen to some of the testimonials I've presented. Listen to the testimonials about what they've done to children. Sexually torture them, suffocating them, radiating them, blinding them, and it goes on and on. So these grown men, when I see them, they look down because they know I look at them for the bottom feeders that they are, involved in a program that does these horrible things to kids and do the pedophilia type of torture, and the entities that contract these people, the entities really in charge are filled with pedophiles. To all my target individuals, stay strong.